Knights battling Nazis sounds like a rejected Marvel movie script, right? But what if I told you it actually happened? This is the untold story of how an ancient order of knights faced off against one of the most feared regimes in history. And their weapons weren't swords, but sabotage, smuggling, and sheer guts. And yes, this is as wild as it sounds, so strap in. Let's set the stage. Let's rewind to the early 1940s. Europe is in chaos. Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime is steamrolling across the continent and millions are living in fear. But hidden in this nightmare, there's a group you'd never expect to fight back. The sovereign military Order of Malta. Who? Glad you asked. These guys aren't your average soldiers, they're knights. Yes, like medieval, chivalry, Crusades level knights. Their order dates back nearly 1,000 years, originally founded to protect pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Over centuries, they traded swords for diplomacy, evolving into a humanitarian powerhouse. By World War II, they were running hospitals, managing charities, and quietly maintaining influence across Europe. But when the Nazis rose to power, the knights found themselves at a crossroads. Stay neutral or take a stand. Spoiler alert, they chose the latter, and they weren't subtle about it. The secret war begins. This is where things get juicy. The Nazis were meticulous. They controlled borders, monitored citizens, and crushed dissent with an iron fist. So how did the Order fight back? First, they turned their hospitals into secret escape routes. Picture this: a German officer walks into a hospital looking for prisoners, and the staff says, "Oh, you just missed them." Meanwhile, those patients are being smuggled out the back door, disguised as nurses or even corpses. And then there was their intelligence work. The Order used their diplomatic immunity like a backstage pass to sneak vital information out of occupied zones. Documents, maps, troop movements, you name it, they smuggled it. Imagine James Bond, but with rosaries. But the crown jewel of their resistance? Assassination plots. Yes, they even tried to take out the big guy himself, Hitler. One night, Baron Rudolf von Gersdorf actually got within arm's reach of the Führer with a coat full of explosives. Unfortunately, Hitler decided to cut his museum tour short, probably the one time in history he wasn't long-winded. Gersdorf narrowly escaped, but his bravery became the stuff of legend. The stakes get higher. Now, it wasn't all daring escapes and clever disguises. The knights paid a steep price for their defiance. Members of the Order were hunted by the Gestapo, hospitals were raided, allies captured, and families threatened. Imagine this: you're running a resistance network, smuggling refugees, and passing intelligence, all while pretending to be neutral. One wrong move, one slip of the tongue, and it's not just your life on the line, it's everyone around you. But here's the crazy part: they kept going. Even as the Nazis tightened their grip, the knights found new ways to fight back. They worked with underground movements, forged documents, and even used Vatican connections to protect those fleeing persecution. At one point, the Nazis reportedly accused the Order of being too charitable. Let that sink in. The bad guys of history were mad because someone was being too nice. The legacy they left behind. So what happened after the war? Well, the Order survived and thrived. Their hospitals and charities saved thousands of lives, and their intelligence work helped the Allies win key battles. But their story didn't get a Hollywood ending. Why? Because history prefers its heroes in uniforms, not cloaks. The Order's secrecy meant their contributions were overshadowed by larger, more visible movements. Here's the twist though: the sovereign military Order of Malta still exists today. They operate in over 100 countries, providing aid to millions. And some conspiracy theorists even claim their influence stretches into global politics. So, next time you hear about secret societies shaping the world, remember, they might not be all bad. The takeaway: this story isn't just about knights versus Nazis, it's about courage, the kind that doesn't need a spotlight. These modern-day knights didn't fight for fame or glory, They fought because it was the right thing to do. And maybe that's the real lesson here. You don't need a sword or a title to stand up to injustice. You just need the will to act. So the next time someone tells you history is boring, remind them there was a time when knights battled Nazis and they won. This is Chronicles of Eras, where history's best-kept secrets come alive. Like, comment, and subscribe, because there's so much more to uncover.